Shabbat Shalom, and welcome to 5 Minutes of Torah with the Beth Israel Rabbi. I am here in Cape Town, South Africa at the Jewish Museum, and I have a very special guest with us today, Gavin, who is the director of the museum. And before we speak about the museum, I want to just mention that this coming Shabbat, we read Parshat Matot. And commonly, actually, Matot and Maseh go together. These two parshiot are divided this Shabbat, as we are in the midst of a leap year. But normally when we put these two Shabbatot together, we actually form a bit of a sentence. And that sentence means the tribes are traveling. Matot Maseh. And when I think about those words, the tribes are traveling, it reminds me of the fact that not only did the tribes of the Jewish people travel in the time of the Torah, but we as a Jewish people have been traveling literally for thousands of years. Many of us in Vancouver, we could date back our ancestry first to the land of Israel, from the land of Israel to Rome, from Rome into Germany, from Germany into Poland, from Poland into Winnipeg, and from Winnipeg to Vancouver. But for many of us, that is not exactly the trajectory. Rather, it's from the land of Israel to Rome, Rome to Germany, Germany to Lithuania, from Lithuania to Cape Town, and from Cape Town to Vancouver. And that is exactly what we're going to talk about today, the South African Jewish community. And not only that, but the very fact that as we are speaking right now at Beth Israel, there is an exhibit from the Cape Town Jewish Museum that is taking place at our synagogue. Gavin.
Thank you, Rabbi.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Yes, there's a lot of expat South Africans in Canada, Vancouver, Toronto, and so on. And I'm very glad the exhibition that is at Joshua at the moment is on display there. It's an exhibition that we did at the Jewish Museum about 3 years ago to celebrate the 175 years of Jewish life in South Africa. There have been Jews in South Africa longer than 175 years, but we chose the anniversary from the date of the very first documented minyan that took place in South Africa. This was on Kol Nidre night in 1841. There were 17 Jewish men living in Cape Town, and they had the very first minyan held just up the road from where the museum is today, which is now a part of a hotel. And at that minyan, they decided to form the very first congregation. Now, when we did the exhibition, it proved to be an interesting proposition in that we have a beautiful museum that already tells a story about communal history. So we wanted to be able to share something, a different aspect of that in terms of the exhibition, and telling that the story of 175 years. So what we chose to do was tell the personal stories. So we collected stories over the 175 years from early on, the early arrivals, right up until contemporary times, and made them anonymous, because we wanted each story and each element that people told to be relevant and familiar to South African Jews wherever they happen to be in the world. So there are stories of activities and things that are shared experiences of South African Jews. You alluded to the fact that the majority of us came from Lithuania. Vast majority, not everyone. We have a big Sephardi community from Rhodes Island and off the coast of Greece. And some of the very early settlers in South Africa were English and German Jews. But the vast majority of our community is Litvak. And these stories that we tell are stories from Dahain, of the early Litvak influences in South Africa. And they're really shared experiences. They're things that every South African Jew will find a little anecdote or something there that will resonate and spark memory and nostalgia in what they are. Including that is actually the fact that a huge proportion of our community, probably more than 50%, we'll find out soon enough during the census, have left these shores. It's sad for those of us who are still here, but it's nice to know that South African Jews have gone on and added to Jewish life in other places in the world. Canada and Australia and America and England and Israel, South African Jews have played an important role to keep that involved and keep Yiddishkeit alive in different parts of the world. As the museum, I have the honor of being able to share our history, share our story, particularly with returning Jews and many South African Jews bring their families who've grown up in a different part of the world back here so they can learn their roots. And it's nice to see that there is still Jewish life here, very happy, solid Jewish life that they can share with their children or grandchildren. It's a lovely. We still have a lovely community, very rich Jewish life here in South Africa, and the museum gets to share those stories with returning South Africans, but also with other South Africans. It's very important for us that South Africans from all different religions and cultures and environments get to know about our community, understand who we are, how we've come to be here, and that we're part and parcel of the broader cultural tapestry of South African life and play a very important role. And the museum plays a role as an interlocutor between our community and the broader community in South Africa.
Thank you. And certainly I know that we in Vancouver greatly appreciate the role that the South African Jewish community has played in our Jewish community, and certainly at Congregation Beth Israel. And if you're ever here, I highly suggest coming to the museum. My family and I had an opportunity to go through it and visit it Erev Shabbat last week, and it was wonderful. And I'm going to ask actually if you'd like to just get a flavor of the neighborhood in which we're in. Actually, we're going to do a panoramic view at this moment, so you can even see Table Mountain, which is against the backdrop of the museum. So Shabbat Shalom. Thank you. And please join us in Vancouver as well. Drop by at any point in which the synagogue is open in order to visit the exhibition.
Just as you do your panoramic view, I'll just let you know that on this campus you'll find the Jewish Museum, the Garden Shul, which is the oldest congregation in the country, also the most beautiful shul, in my opinion, in the country, and certainly in Cape Town. There is a Jewish lending library, we have a kosher restaurant, we have a museum shop. There's a Holocaust center that also brings all the children to learn about Jewish history and the dangers of xenophobia and the importance of respect for tolerance and diversity. And then across the road we have all our communal offices. So this really is the cultural home of Cape Town Jewish community. Thank you for visiting.
Thank you.